we are going to bring you the most incredible images now of downtown Dubai, the Palm Jumeirah Fairmont Hotel, which is ablaze after a missile, or at least component parts of a missile, if it wasn't a direct impact, have struck and damaged that building. This is of great concern because Dubai is one of the world's most popular tourist destinations. Many, many thousands of people there all of the time, including, of course, Brits who go there for some winter sun at this time of the year when it's guaranteed to be hot weather. But this is what we're seeing, as I say, in the Dubai Palm Jumeirah Fairmont Hotel. There's a couple of different videos that we can bring you. There's one that's slightly closer into that. We're endeavouring to get those images cut for you as well. And the closer in images are very concerning as well, because you can see that the front of the building is clearly on fire. The vehicles at the front of the building appear to be on fire as well. There will have been, without doubt, many people within this hotel at the time of this strike. And that is why, you know, such concern has been expressed by allies of states within that area, such as, of course, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Bahrain, the UK, among the countries, expressing their support and solidarity. And it's why, Nana, we've got the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Sir Keir Starmer, after, I have to say, the most deafening silence for so much of today, finally coming out with that statement and confirming that British aircraft and assets are in the skies over the Middle East, helping to stave off the missile strikes that are coming from the Iranian regime into Israel and into Iran's neighbours.
Now, I mean, the Fairmont, if it's part of the full chain of Fairmont hotels, those are exclusive hotels. I mean, Dubai is obviously quite expensive in certain parts of it, but the Fairmont, their chain are very exclusive, in particular in this country as well. So looking at the strikes and looking at what has happened there, it does look as though there are likely to be some casualties there, but it also brings in Dubai and all those countries around Iran who sat quietly and allowed Iran to just get on with using its proxies to devastate or attempt to devastate parts of Israel. And now we're seeing them, they are listening. Now something is happening towards them. Now this is not a good thing. I don't want anyone to be harmed, but it is important that those who are closest and around Iran start reacting and looking at what they're doing.
And they are reacting. The government in Saudi Arabia has issued a very strong-worded statement saying that it absolutely supports its neighbour Kuwait, which has also been struck multiple times today. Of course, there are US military facilities in Kuwait believed to have been the target or intended target of these Iranian strikes. The Saudi government saying it supports Kuwait in whatever action it deems necessary in its self-defence, and other countries throughout that region as well that have been the subject of Iranian missile strikes simply because they are playing host to US bases.
Well, it's interesting as well because that area also includes Qatar, and Qatar were quite, as we knew, that the Hamas leaders were harboured in Qatar, and it is interesting that the Iranians are taking no prisoners. They don't appear to care what is around them at all, and they are prepared to act with impunity. And this, I've got to say that instead of a lot of people are talking about regime change, it's kind of been positioned differently because Trump is urging Iran to take over the government. So normally when we hear of regime change, it would be the Americans and the Brits going in like they did with Afghanistan and actually putting in things, systems and structures in place to run the country. Now, this has never, ever gone well as we know of it. But I can't think of a time when it has been where the government has said, OK, we're going to, and a foreign government said, we're going to try and help the people because they did call for Trump to help, and then we're going to leave it to you.
Yes, it has come quite a bit after the fact, though. The people of Iran, when they rose up before Christmas, were calling then for an intervention and help. It didn't come at that time. It's come a lot of months later, and with it a call to rise up now. It may be your only opportunity for some considerable time, according to President Trump. Of course, the people of Iran can't rise up at the moment because that country is being bombarded constantly at the moment by the US and Israel in repeat strikes on targets there. But afterwards, possibly. I just want to confirm for you now some other breaking lines that we're getting. You were looking at the images there of the Fairmont Hotel in downtown Dubai. Again, reports now of more loud bangs heard in Dubai, that being reported by Reuters. We're also being told, as we mentioned, Kuwait being targeted multiple times. Kuwait's international airport was struck by a drone. It caused several injuries among several workers in the airport, although the damage, we're told, according to the state news agency in Kuwait, is limited. But injuries nonetheless. And you were mentioning Qatar there. That might be an opportune moment if we can readily place our hands on the images to show those latest images from Qatar. Now, this is Doha, and this is one of the residential areas in Doha where a missile has come down. You can see it struck a roadway right next to, you can see that's the residential complex there in Doha. These are other images of the same incident a little earlier, taken by a local resident there with that big fireball rising in the air as this missile comes down. The fireball, the smoke, that distressed man who was filming those images for the world to see just what has been happening to his country.
Yeah, it is quite frightening and also quite shocking, especially for those countries around Iran that aren't used to any of this at all. Of course, Israel have been putting up with bombardment from proxies of Iran for quite some time. But again, it kind of just shows you how these countries are exposed if they don't do something about some of their closest neighbours. And it is about time that someone dealt with in a, I don't know how you would do it, I don't know whether the way Trump is going about it is the right way, but at least it's something. But in a way, he was known when he was out of office in the previous presidency of somebody that the Middle East were upset about losing because he kept peace in the Middle East. But now he's kind of gone back in. I don't know whether would you say, I mean, it feels as though he's instigated this, but of course Iran were constantly fighting Israel and using proxies to do so.
While I answer that, let's take another image of the Fairmont Hotel in Dubai, and you can see, I think these are more concerning because you can just see how that has engulfed the front of the building and vehicles at the front of that building as well. But you're right, what we've had with regard to Iran, the vexed question of how you deal with a problem like Iran, from successive US, British administrations, other Western governments, is inertia. Nothing has really happened. You know, agreements have been reached where the archetypal obfuscators, Iran, have been able to constantly talk a good game, pretend that on the surface they're actually doing something. They are agreeing with the concerns of the international community. They are making headway. They are ensuring that their nuclear program is for peaceful purposes only, while at the same time, behind the back of the Independent Atomic Energy Authority inspectors who say, oh, well, they're complying. Well, clearly, the US intelligence services, the Israeli intelligence services, know differently. They know that the Iranians have been building, enriching their uranium with a view to building their nuclear bomb program and developing the ballistic missiles. The second component of that, the device that carries those nuclear warheads at the moment just to the kind of the wider Middle East, but soon enough, according to the US and the Israelis, to Western Europe, to the United States. The continental United States is the next stage in the development of these long-range ballistic missiles, is what Iran is currently actively involved in. So to get back to your point, Donald Trump is moving. He's taken action. It flies against the Donald Trump philosophy, which is not to get involved in foreign adventures. And to the extent that, you know, he's not putting boots on the ground, he's complying with that to a degree. This is an air campaign, you know, fought from air bases in the area, aircraft carriers in the area, submarines and alike in the area as well. But what it's not is US military on the ground. But he has, I think, realised that as much as his instincts might be not to get involved in conflict in Iran, doing nothing is just not an option with them embarking on the pathway that they are at the moment to developing a bomb and the capability to deliver that bomb.